Hello and welcome to Human Anatomy Prep. I'm Ty Gardner and I'll be your instructor. Cells are the smallest unit of life. Viruses, made of only genetic material and a protein coat, are not cells or alive. The smallest cells, bacteria, have cell membranes and some other features in common with our cells. Tissues, discussed in our next chapter, are functional combinations of cells and cell products. We are made of many organ systems. Organ systems are made of multiple organs. Organs are made of multiple tissues. And tissues are made of many cells working together. Therefore, it is appropriate to say that we are made of cells. In physiology, you will focus on the function of cells and their proteins. In anatomy, we will focus on larger levels of organization, but we need to know a few things about cells. We'll use this model of a cell to visualize its parts, but it is important to know that cells can come in different shapes. Here is a concept map to help us think about cells. It organizes basic concepts. Here we see that endoplasmic reticulum comes in two forms, rough and smooth. It gives us additional information. Rough ER makes proteins, but smooth ER makes lipids. It even shows connections. Rough ER proteins are sent to the Golgi apparatus. Revisit the concept map after the lecture. Cells consist of an outer plasma membrane surrounding organelles and a fluid environment called cytosol. Here we can see the plasma membrane and several different organelles. Molecules called phospholipids allow only some small and nonpolar molecules to cross the cell membrane. Phospholipids have a polar head, sometimes referred to as hydrophilic because it can mix with water, and a nonpolar tail, sometimes referred to as hydrophobic because it doesn't mix with water. The plasma membrane is a phospholipid bilayer, two layers of phospholipids with tails in the middle. Small, uncharged molecules, like oxygen gas, O2, can move through the bilayer, but charged particles can't. Plasma membrane proteins perform many tasks. Some allow the cell to be more specific about what enters or exits. Sodium-potassium pumps are membrane proteins that use energy, in the form of ATP, to transport sodium, Na+, out of the cell, and potassium, K+, into the cell. This sets up concentration gradients that drive nerve transmission, a topic for your physiology class. Microvilli are extensions of the plasma membrane that increase surface area. This improves absorption. We find microvilli in areas where absorption is important, like our intestines, and one section of our kidney tubules. 3 modifications increase small intestine surface area: circular folds, villi, and microvilli at the cellular level. Organelles, meaning little organs, are involved in the cell's metabolism, movement, and replication. Some, like mitochondria, become important in physiology as you learn how they produce ATP, our cellular energy source. Let's start with a brief explanation of each as we consider producing proteins to break down an ingested molecule. DNA, deoxyribonucleic acid, contained in the nucleus, contains information needed to build a protein. Proteins are built from amino acid subunits at a ribosome. Ribosomes attached to the rough endoplasmic reticulum build proteins that are placed in membranes and shipped to the Golgi apparatus for modification. The Golgi apparatus ships out the proteins in a vesicle, a membrane bubble. A vesicle containing enzymes that break down big molecules imported into the cell is called a lysosome. To lyse means to break, in this case using hydrolytic enzymes that break a molecule by adding a water. The energy required for such tasks as protein formation is provided by ATP formed by mitochondria. Let's do that one more time while looking at our model cell. DNA, deoxyribonucleic acid, contained in the nucleus, contains information needed to build a protein. Proteins are built from amino acid subunits at a ribosome. Ribosomes attached to the rough endoplasmic reticulum place proteins in membranes and ship them to the Golgi apparatus for modification. The Golgi apparatus ships out the proteins in a vesicle, a membrane bubble. A vesicle containing enzymes that break down big molecules imported into the cell is called a lysosome. The energy required for such tasks as protein formation is provided by ATP formed by mitochondria. Cilia and Flagella are organelles that provide movement. Cilia are short projections on an epithelial cell that wave to produce movement of things outside the cell. Cilia move debris in respiratory tubes so we can cough it out, and move the egg in the uterine tubes. Flagella are long projections, occurring singly, singular equals flagellum, that provide movement for sperm. I hope this has been helpful. Your next stop is the video on tissues.